This is Dr. Chris's Radio Horror program here on the Radio Horror YouTube channel, and we're back to talk about an older horror movie, one by Massachusetts native Adam Green, who I've met several times and has been on this show before, and we're going to talk about his movie, Frozen, not to be confused with a cartoon made by some giant studio. This came out a good 10 years ago and stars Kevin Zegers, Shawn Ashmore, and Emma Bell, about three kids trapped on a ski lift overnight. I thought the plot was ridiculous when I first heard about it until I saw the movie, and it grips you. It grips you with fear. And we're going to talk about it with Cati, the Blonde in front of fear, who actually got to sit in at a Q&A and meet Adam Green for this 10th anniversary of his classic horror film.
Yes, in fact, I was at the 10th anniversary screening, and he says that it was on the 25th of January at Panic Fest, and the actual 10th anniversary was on January 24th. Green has said many times this is his favorite film. It's his favorite film that he has made, and this is a very one of a kind film because there is little to no green screen. Everything, like these three kids that are on, all of the actors that are on the chairlift, they're actually on a chairlift 50 feet up in the air. If they miss the mark, you had to go 40 minutes and go all the way around because chairlifts, something I didn't know, don't go backwards. No matter who you'd ask to do or whatever studio, they don't go backwards. So you miss that mark, you got to go all the way around. And when they did those scenes, it's like a lot of the times it would be the three actors in a chairlift, and then Adam Green and the cameraman in a chair right before them doing these scenes. I did not realize how much this film affected me until I was watching someone's Instagram stories that were on a chairlift, and I was shaking. This is one of those films that it is real. It is real. You've got frostbite, you've got isolation, you've got if you've got a fear of heights, they've got wolves, and all the wolves are real. These are not fake wolves. Again, they used everything. This is all everything. I mean, not practical effects, but everything is real, and that's one of the criteria that Green wanted to use. A nice little side note is when Emma Bell auditioned for this film, she was, I believe, the first person to audition for Parker. Immediately, that is who Green wanted. The studio said, no, you can't do that. They had listed a number of like A-list actresses and stuff like that. So he was hired the A-list actress, and then she's like, okay, we need to have green screen. I won't go more than 10 feet in the air. He's like, nope, bye, thanks. Emma Bell got it. And looking at her performance, this is before Walking Dead. This is before Final Destination, like 4 or 3, whatever it is. I mean, she nails it. She is a star. The anecdotes that were during this 10th anniversary screening were amazing. Joe Lynch and Adam Green, friends, did this film together. When this film was being made, Joe lost his father, and he had out in there, and he said, it's like, if I had to be anywhere, that is a place that I wanted to be. And I had my friend who comforted me. He had just had a baby, and this is a very personal film for Adam Green. It's has ties with Joe Lynch. I mean, Shawn Ashmore's character is Joe Lynch, like right there. Which when they did this, when he was making the film, he didn't realize that Joe and his lives would be intertwined, like with the movie Crypt and all the films they've done. Like I met them for the first time 2 years ago at Panic Fest. They were there together. They're there this year, and it's amazing. This film, yeah, you want to build a snowman and watch this movie, because if you're gonna, it's up there. I don't know. I would almost consider Frozen being up there with horror films like set in the snow, like The Thing, The Shining. This is a solid movie.
This movie, I I originally rented from Redbox, and I immediately had to go out and buy. And I got, as I have all my Adam Green films, I have this signed by him. It says, "Chris, don't ski. Love, Adam Green." Uh, I have the Blu-ray here with me. A brilliantly conceived, gut-wrenching horror film delivers maximum fright, scary and intense. I loved it. On the back says, "I was so paralyzed with terror by this movie that I chewed a whole pencil in half watching it." The bonus material for this, which you said Adam told everyone to go and listen to with the bonus material.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
and he was very much saying that if you're going to watch the film, you have to buy it, buy the Blu-ray because the Blu-ray has so many things in it that are great. He was telling anecdotes about Kane Hodder, and because I forgot that Kane Hodder was in this movie. There, I don't know if it's in the behind the scenes, but when Kevin Zegers was actually on the ground with the wolves, he was in a pit, and they had to like put him in a pit and then put the ground and snow up to his waist so he couldn't move. And they released the wolves, and the wolves are trained, but they're still wild animals. There was a point where the wolf, there's a big black and gray wolf that is beautiful, but is also a wild animal, got right up to Kevin Zager's face. Now, he did not know what was going on. No one knew what was going on, and they're like, "Oh my God, we cannot lose our actor." Apparently, the wolf just wanted his hat. No one knew that, but after that happened, apparently he got out of that pit real quick and never went back in. Uh,
See, there is some great behind the scenes bonus material about the wolves and how to shoot with them, and they interview the guy, the wolf trainer, talking about like it was a closed set. It only people that absolutely needed to be there, and even then they skeleton crewed it down. There are things that you absolutely have to adhere to with these animals that you have to do. Things like that.
yeah, and if you're, I mean, you're from Massachusetts, and knowing, watching this movie, there's definitely little inside jokes regarding Massachusetts, and there's a New Hampshire joke that apparently is well known that people are Rhode Island joke that people make. I don't know. I'm not from either place, but they got it, and especially with when they're talking about the skiing places, like, oh, that never happened. It's like, that never happened here. It's like, well, I heard it happened this one place. Oh, no, it totally happened there. Like, yeah, they totally had people stuck on a chairlift and they died. Oh, totally happened there. And that's kind of the way it is with everybody. I mean, when you're in that situation, everyone's going to try and do this or do that. And this is a litmus test and an example of like, don't do any of those things. I mean, one, you're just probably going to die. I mean, they go through so many different ways of how you can die. And I don't know if I'll ever go. Well, I love skiing, but I don't know if I'll ever do it on a chair. I don't know if I'll ever get up on top of a mountain on a chairlift. Maybe one of those little gondola things, but not that chair. I get freaked out by the chairlift anyway. So
Well, I wouldn't get
I,
freaked out by
yeah.
the chairlift because, I mean, these are idiot kids that did this at night and no one was paying attention. That's why they got stuck up
Well,
there.
Well, they got stuck because no one, I mean, one, you've got someone that lets them go up, but then they trade places. And then he says, like, okay, they've got three people coming down. So three people came down. The guy didn't know that, the three people coming down weren't the three people on the chairlift. Yeah, it's just frightening. I mean, one, they just, you know, they didn't think they'd get stuck up there. I would probably I mean, I love to ski, but not that much. It's like it's too bad if you only got like three runs down. It's like, I don't know, stay in the bunny hills, have if someone can't ski, let them stay in the lodge, have some hot toddies and put your feet up, but do what you got to do, but don't do it at night and don't get stuck because this is not a pretty sight with everything that happens.
So the two commentaries consist of Adam and the cast, Sean, Kevin, and Emma, and then a commentary with Adam, his cinematographer Will Barrett, and editor Ed Marks. Now, Emma's character, by the way, shows up in another Adam Green movie, the aftermath of this film. What Adam Green movie is that?
I do not know.
Hatchet 2. She's seen on a on the television at the very beginning of the movie, in the cabin of the guy who rescues Mary Beth, Daniel Harris's character, just before he gets killed by Victor Crowley. And the camera just pans around the cabin, and you hear a reporter talking about the lone survivor of a ski lift tragedy, and then they cut right to Emma Bell being interviewed, and the camera continues panning over. They don't hold on it for very long, so it's very quick at the beginning of Hatchet 2.
Nice. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you don't like compound fractures, you might not want to watch this movie because they've got a few that are just gnarly.
And people are going, "Oh, well, how does that happen?" That it's summertime, and it's like, no, don't forget, it's at Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras takes place in February. This is taking place. This movie, Frozen, takes place in the winter, so the two time periods do sync up with each other. I highly recommend Frozen if you have never seen it before. I do not recommend showing it to your children. It is not the Frozen you think it is, but I highly recommend it if you like horror movies, if you like skiing, if you like an original horror movie premise. This was pretty original, and I love meeting Adam Green every time he comes to Rock and Shock, the local horror convention here in Worcester, or whatever it will become. I'm not going to get into that, but yeah, Rock and Shock kind of stopped and there's a new convention taking place. But Adam is sure to return. He loves coming here, as Massachusetts is his hometown, his home state. Thank you, Katie, for your review of Frozen. I highly recommend it. Don't forget to check out the rest of the videos here on the Radio Horror YouTube channel, and we'll be back in a few weeks with another exciting film review with Katie, the Blonde in Front of Fear, and Radio Horror.
Don't let it